The inclusion of Ukrainian armed forces in the UK's Victory in Europe VE Day parade on May 5th has sparked significant backlash, with critics on social media and in public discourse labelling the decision as disrespectful and historically insensitive. The parade, marking the 80th anniversary of the Allied victory over Nazi Germany, featured Ukrainian personnel marching alongside approximately 1,000 UK service members, symbolising global support for Ukraine's ongoing defence against Russia's invasion, according to the UK Ministry of Defence, MOD. However, the move has ignited a firestorm of criticism, particularly on platforms like X, where users have questioned the appropriateness of Ukrainian participation given historical complexities. The MOD defended the inclusion, stating that Ukrainian troops, part of Operation Interflex, a UK-led training programme for Ukrainian recruits, represented the continued fight for freedom against Russia's unprovoked, illegal invasion. Defence Secretary John Healey emphasised the symbolic unity, noting, "In the midst of the first full-scale war in Europe since the Second World War, it is fitting that the Ukrainian armed forces, currently fighting on the front line of freedom, are represented." Major Pavlo, an officer in the Ukrainian contingent, echoed this sentiment, calling the participation a recognition of Ukraine's strength, courage, and resilience in the global fight for peace. Yet, posts on X reveal a stark divide. Critics argue that the presence of Ukrainian troops dishonours the memory of VE Day, citing historical ties between some Ukrainian factions and Nazi Germany during World War II. One user claimed Ukrainian troops in WW2 were guarding concentration camps alongside the SS, labelling their inclusion a betrayal of the Allied victory. Another called it pure subversion, suggesting the decision was a political manoeuvre to promote contemporary geopolitical agendas. These sentiments were amplified by references to the Galicia Division, a Ukrainian unit that fought with Germany, driven by anti-Soviet motives following the Holodomor famine of 1932–33, which killed millions of Ukrainians. Supporters, however, counter that such criticisms distort history and ignore Ukraine's significant contributions to the Soviet Red Army's efforts against Nazi Germany, with millions of Ukrainians serving in the Allied cause. D-Day veteran Jack Mortimer, aged 101, who observed the parade, supported the inclusion, stating, "People from all over the world joined forces 80 years ago to defend freedom. We must remember all of their sacrifices." He added that the procession, featuring flags from Commonwealth nations and Ukrainian representation, underscored enduring alliances. The controversy also drew international attention, with Russian officials seizing on the decision to fuel propaganda. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov called the invitation of Ukrainian forces blasphemy and accused the UK of supporting neo-Nazi elements, a claim widely dismissed as misleading given Ukraine's pivotal role in defeating Nazism and its current democratic leadership under Jewish President Volodymyr Zelensky. BBC coverage of the event further inflamed tensions, with some viewers switching off in protest over interviews with Ukrainian soldiers. One viewer remarked, "Can I remind the BBC that Russia was one of our allies during World War II and we fought a common enemy?" Others questioned why Ukraine was pushed to the fore in a commemoration meant to honour World War II veterans. As the debate rages, historians urge nuance, noting that while some Ukrainian nationalists collaborated with Germany in hopes of achieving independence from Soviet rule, the broader Ukrainian population suffered immensely under both Nazi and Soviet regimes. The inclusion of Ukrainian troops, they argue, reflects solidarity with a nation under attack rather than an endorsement of historical controversies. The UK government has not issued further statements addressing the backlash, but the polarised reactions highlight the challenges of commemorating historical victories in the context of modern conflicts. As VE Day celebrations continue, the presence of Ukrainian forces remains a lightning rod for discussions about history, memory, and geopolitics.